Is dreaming an instance of hallucinations or imagining? So, first of all, what is dream, imagination, and hallucinations? Dreams are images, sounds, voices, words, thoughts, or sensations experienced while sleeping, while imagination is the ability to form mental images, sensations, and representations without using the senses, is commonly associated with creativity. Artists and writers, for example, are frequently thought to have a strong, active imagination. In contrast, hallucinations occur when you hear, see, smell, taste, or feel things that appear to be real but only exist in your mind. In addition, hallucinating can be a symptom of a mental illness when it is not related to substance abuse. Dreaming, hallucinations, and imaginations are frequently confused for one another because they all occur in the same context, which is the mental mind. They can influence each other in many ways, and they can also be influenced by environmental factors using the five senses. However, there is a difference between dreaming, hallucinations, and imagining. In contrast to hallucinations and imaginations, which are usually well remembered and available for conscious self-reflections, dreams involve a constant flow of perceptions that are often forgotten upon waking. Dreams and hallucinations occur involuntarily in the mind. The only difference is that dreams occur during certain stages of sleep, while hallucinations occur in conscious state. And imagination can strike at any time. Some individuals are struck by inspirations, usually commonly as artists, and then make an intentional effort to pursue alternatives of the idea. As a result, we can conclude that imaginations and hallucinations are similar because they both occur in a conscious state. And the fact that hallucinations and dreams are described as vivid and supported by a sense of reality is a key point of similarity. Imagination, on the other hand, lacks these qualities and is therefore seldom confused with actual perception. Furthermore, imaginations and dreams are not always benign as they are continuous that includes intrusive thoughts and nightmares. Intrusive thoughts are considered diagnostic features of condition such as obsessive compulsive disorder in a clinical and psychology and psychiatry. Intrusive thoughts like hallucinations can be perceived as an uncontrollable and fundamentally non-self in origin, causing significant distress and burden, and while dreams' contents are frequently neutral or benign, they can also cause fear and distress when manifested as nightmares or parasomnia, such as the Frankenberg's phenomenon. So, thus several features of hallucinations, imaginations, and dreams appear to be shared despite the fact that they are commonly described as core and fundamental properties within their own definition. So we cannot really say that dreaming is an example of hallucinations or imagination.
Good day everyone! For today's video, we are going to tackle about the question, how can we be so sure we are not always dreaming? Dreams occur whenever we sleep, but in some cases, dreaming can occur while we are awake, which is also known as daydreaming. But how can we tell if we are dreaming or if this is the reality that we are experiencing? It was not certain, but the majority of us can tell the difference between the reality and a dream. But how can you be so certain that you aren't dreaming right now? Rationalism is defined in philosophy as a way of thinking that is characterized by deductive and abstract reasoning. In common parlance, rationalism refers to a basic respect for a reason or the belief that reason should play a significant role in human life. Being rational entails being able to deduce and reason abstractly. Being rational implies the ability to reason. Furthermore, in connection with the film The Fantasyland, the characters faced a series of events, their personal fantasies. Each of them had these fantasies, and in the end, Bax stayed behind with Mr. Rourke to help with the island so he could use his fantasy to bring back his brother JD. And according to Descartes, dream experience could be in principle indistinguishable from waking life. Whatever apparent subjective differences there are between waking life and dreaming, they are insufficient to gain certainty that a person is not dreaming. And with that, a rational thinker could definitely tell the difference between reality and a dream. Although there may be no obvious reason to distinguish between the two, it is innate in a human being to do so.
Fantasy Island, the the fantasy island, which is run by the mysterious Mr. Rourke, where he makes the dream of his lucky guest into reality, is the focus of the movie. Fantasy Island is a love story with suspense but ironic turns. So the group of visitors thinks that the island might be distorting their wishes when their dreams turns into horrors. Each episode contains an underlying caution to be careful what you wish for. In order to survive the island, the visitor must then unravel its mystery. Fantasy Island also provides an unusual perspective on fears. However, the movie is successful in turning these idyllic settings and pleasant circumstances into something claustrophobic and terrifying. The show delves further into the supernatural as the seasons progress. Although the show's core idea was the same as its predecessors, or it was far more interested in delving into the terror of that fantasy. Then, Ronald Descartes contend that the senses cannot be relied upon completely and without dispute. He thinks that the dreams have real-world truths. Therefore, no matter how fanciful or outlandish they may seem, they are grounded in truth. Descartes challenged his own knowledge, or perception of reality, rather than exploring the nature of reality. Descartes says there aren't any undeniable distinction between a dream and a reality, and comes to the conclusion that he cannot rely on his senses, and for that, all he knows. The world and himself may both be under the influence of a malicious demon. So the question is, how is the fantasy similar to the Descartes dream though? They all have the desire to solve their issues so that their uncertainty can be removed and a knowledge can be achieved. Adding to that, there are a lot of questions you should be asking yourself about how this is possible, because you don't know what will happen or why it is occurring now. Next one, they have both have Cartesian skepticism. It is based on the finding that our judgments about the external world, the future, and the other minds are undetermined by what intuitively appears to be our evidence for them experience, the present, and observable behavior, raising the possibility that none of our judgments in these areas are correct.
Maybe immoral in dreams. We have to give both yes and no answers to the question of who is responsible for the morals of dream life. If we assume, for example, that dreams about murder are caused by physical experiences, the dream is just an interpretation of these sensations. Dreams can be symbolic at times, which helps to explain why we don't feel bad about the crimes of our dreams. The only way to know what the symbolism is in any particular situation is to analyze it. In passing, it may be claimed that our responses to things that we perceive as affecting us in our waking lives are largely the same in our dreams. From the movie Fantasy Island, Melanie dreamed of getting revenge from her childhood bully Sloan. But when she was given the chance to accomplish her dream, she couldn't do it. Her conscience pulls her back to doing atrocity to her bully, despite the fact that she dreams of her getting what she deserves. We can safely state that none of the situations turn out the way characters anticipated. However, they are required to follow each fantasy to its natural conclusion, which can be incredibly terrifying in any scenario involving regret. If having immoral dreams, which we define as any dreams that depart from the sense of righteousness that one has when awake, is a good indicator of one's moral character, then everyone has immoral dreams occasionally, since everyone has them, regardless of how they behave in the waking state. To put it in another way, what occurs in dreams only symbolizes the initial phases of a process. an idea, want, or desire. There is no moral responsibility, no sin on our side, regardless of what occurs in the dream, because our wills are not active during dreams. Instead, our unconscious mind creates a vivid symbolic scene based on an idea, want, or desire. They are not indicative of one's genuine nature until they are a routine. As one cannot dream of what one does not know, even if the knowledge is theoretical, such dreams typically reflect the dreamer's knowledge. To conclude, committing immorality or heinous crimes in our dreams are in fact possible. The immorality of our dreams are simply the result of imagination in the waking state. Thus, it is excusable, but it won't be justifiable and excusable if we committed it consciously or if we are awake.
Our dreams are conscious experiences that occur during sleep. Yes, especially if you are a problematic person or having a anxiety, all of the experiences of yours will occur on your dreams. It can be happy or sad dream. We never know what dream will gonna play to our upcoming dreams. Moreover, you are really tired after work or school, then you will sleep early. It is possible to play a random dreams, or it can be possible to experience the walking while sleep by any chance. Because of tiredness that we've been through. All of our problem that we already face that give us trauma will possibly play in our dreams, because trauma is a sick that really hard to forget, because it's always in our mind whenever we are nearly at the same situation, that make you feel that, although dreams is not a picky when it comes to a person, because all people can experience this. Sometimes it is good having a dream when your dreams is all about good intentions, and for instance, you and your crush for dating are dating rather, and another one is you win a million of money. In that kind of dreams will make my day. But if you experience a bad dream, so many causes you will feel, and I think it is always happening to those people who have an anxiety or depression. Those people who have this kind of illness are strong people. Why? Because they are trying all their best to cope up every day, even though they have brain thinking that give up and suicide. I'm not saying that all people already suicide are not strong. Those people just didn't make it to what they're expecting to happen to their life. There are so many things playing in their head, and that will cause them into trouble that we really cannot prevent them to avoid those things, because we don't know what problem they are facing. So it is hard to just talk to them and motivate them by saying random words to motivate them, because we don't know if they will get offended to our words that we will say to them. It is possible that this word minds them that people who said that to him, who gives him a trauma. It is possible to get physically hurt to those kind of people when you do something that they really don't like.
What is a dream that you had that you wish was real? I enjoy sleeping. It makes me forget about the things that are currently happening to me, particularly the negative ones. And I enjoy it, even more when I dream of things that make my heart sing. Those dreams could make me feel, if only for a brief moment, that there is still goodness in the world. As many people have discovered, dreams do not remain in one's memory for long after they wake up. But there was one dream in particular that stuck with me for a long time. It was a dream in which I met someone who looked almost exactly like me. We have the same features, mannerisms, and opinions on the same things. I liked her because I see myself in her. When people talked to me, I could see what they saw. It was a pleasure to meet her. I get a peek at what they see when they talk to me. It was like looking into a 3D mirror, but it was all a dream.
If you were a character in the movie, would you choose to stay in your fantasy? Why or why not? For me, life can be difficult at times, and there are times when our lives path do not look like the ones we want or what we dream of. Being in a fantasy or having a dream may be appealing, knowing that your fantasy will always be on your side. It's as if you have complete control over it and can do whatever you want. If I were a character in that film, it might be very tempting to just stay in my own fantasy because you are on your own there, not because you are alone, but because you have control over your life. Your personal fantasy is similar to the life you have always desired. However, fantasies are not real. No matter how hard you try to live in that kind of world, it will never be the same as living in the real world. So, if you ask me, I rather stay in my own reality than in fantasy.